We were saying there were some lights flickering on the Spring-Made Pier. That has since stopped. There were also some 2x4s washing up. Those completely washed out of the standing water there, so we're not seeing any more debris floating through that area at all. Again, I don't even think it's sprinkling out here anymore. We haven't felt rain in a while. If we did feel rain, it was very, very, very light. Nothing like those downpours we were seeing around 8 and 9 p.m. Now, we'll continue monitoring this out here. Again, that water is really retreating, but the big story now is that wind. When those wind gusts come through, it's much stronger than we've seen any of this portion this evening. Of course, we'll keep monitoring it and let you know what changes down here. Here's a wind gust right now. If you can see in the background there, some of the palm trees. This is the wind gust I was talking about. When that wind gust comes through, it is much stronger than the consistent wind. Just wanted to give you a quick representation there before we head out, but of course we will continue monitoring everything that's happening down here near Spring-Made Pier in downtown Myrtle Beach. Live in downtown Myrtle Beach, Simon Williams, ABC 15 News.
All right, Simon, I got to say, when I think of a hurricane and Myrtle Beach, that's the image I think of. The palmetto trees swaying in the wind. It's quite iconic.
And the Spring-Made Pier, you saw that live on the air too. You remember that. So.
Of course. And we do want to show you some video from earlier today, this down in Garden City, where another familiar sight during a major storm, waves nearly reaching the beach entrance in Garden City. You can see the water flowing through the fences here and just how strong the winds get, especially the coastal winds. We're also talking about a king tide right now, this full moon. Again, kind of the perfect storm, literally.
It really is. And ABC 15's Anjali Patel has been in Garden City for us all evening. So she was on Waccamaw earlier. Has the water gone down at all, Anjali? Are things getting any better?
Trey, the good news is that the water has receded significantly here. I'm going to use that Jeep that we've been showing you as reference. When we last checked in, the water was up to the top of that Jeep's wheels, and now you can see it is at the bottom of that. So that's some good news, is that, you know, the water is receding. We've seen cars drive past here much more easily in the last few minutes. But the bad news is what kind of damage this water has caused in its wake. My photographer Sam's going to move down here, and I'm going to show you using this light. So people in this area tell me this was slightly a pothole before the storm, but now look at this. There are pieces of this road that are completely just lifted up. This road is practically crumbled because of this storm. We saw a car drive over it before, over this little patch before, and it really was having some trouble getting over it. It looks like this is going to need some significant. This is on South Waccamaw Drive. This is in front of the Maritime Place. Looks like some condos. And so we're seeing just a lot of crumbling on this road as a result of this storm. Now that the waters have receded, we can really see the extent of the damage that this storm has caused. And we can see, just to show you how much better these cars can drive by this area, there's one right here. So you can see the water is lower. I mean, the pooling has pretty much gone from one side of the street, but there is still a little bit going on the opposite side. We still got a car stranded over there. We saw a woman trying to get it towed earlier, but it was not successful. But yeah, we're just seeing, you know, a lot of the damage that's left in the wake of Isaias down here. The good news is, like I said earlier, that the conditions have really started to stabilize down here. It is gusting a little bit in terms of wind, but rain is almost completely gone. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
At least the road is passable, and I think there's a beach access right there across from where you're standing right now too, next to Maritime Place, where people will cross over to go to the beach as well. And you've got all that road there that's basically just broken up from the storm.
Yeah, this road is just completely crumbled because of this. It's going to be hard for people to drive in this area. It's going to need some pretty significant repairs. As you can see, this is just a big crevice, like a crater basically, in the middle of this road.
Wow. At least the water actually receded a bit. I thought that was pretty quick. I mean, what a difference an hour has made for you down in Garden City. So we'll keep checking in with Anjali Patel live on the South Strand for us.
At least it's passable. That's good. All right. If water enters your home, Midway Fire Rescue crews say that you need to turn off your main breaker in the panel box if You could do that safely. You don't want to be standing in the water and do that, obviously. That will help you avoid a potential fire if you can do that safely. All right, after Isaias leaves our area, the storm will continue to travel up the East Coast.
It'll pass right through areas like Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, and that's where we find
in Jacksonville, the wind and the rain is picking back up again. It seemed to calm down, but now it's picking back up again. And Onslow County officials are as prepared as they can be, and now they wait to see what Isaias does. Sharon Russell is the Onslow County manager, and she says they did not cut back in preparation. She says they have covered all areas, swiftwater rescue teams, 4 storm shelters, and crews that are all hands on deck throughout the storm.
It looks like Molly there reporting for us, and we're having some technical difficulties. Imagine that in the year 2020 during a hurricane and a king tide.
And in very early August, not what we typically see, September and October hurricanes and storms.
Well, you know, Virginia is expected to feel the storm's impacts as early as tomorrow morning. Emergency management crews there say that there are shelters on standby just in case.
We check in now with ABC's Alex Thorson, who is in Charles City, with how that area is preparing now.
Well, the skies are getting gloomier by the hour, just foreshadowing what we might see tomorrow. Emergency officials are expecting heavy rain in the late morning hours. Charles City County this afternoon getting a taste of what's expected tomorrow. Heavy rain and strong winds. Earlier in the day, folks stocking up on supplies.
Trying to pick up some gasoline for the generators and some water and just basic supplies.
All a precaution in case they lose power.
A lot of times we'll lose power based upon, you know, how much wind we're going to get.
Construction projects in the area have created detours that many hope won't get disrupted if trees or power lines get in the way.
Have to try to find our way out. Hopefully it won't be as bad.
Assistant County Administrator Rhonda Russell says any of the following are possible.
Flooding events, down trees and down power lines. And so our efforts also include coordination with Dominion Power.
She says the county's emergency shelter is on standby. And once the storm makes its way into town,
we are asking our constituents, our citizenry, to stay in place.
Russell tells 8 News COVID-19 safety precautions like temperature checks and symptom screenings are in place if the shelter opens. The county's emergency management officials say if they have something that they urgently need to communicate to the public, they'll be doing that through robocalls and social media posts. In Charles City County, I'm Alex Thorson.
All right, thank you for that report. Now we turn it over to the North Strand in the Cherry Grove area. That's where ABC 15's Nick Papantonis has been moving locations. Nick, where are you? Which highway are you on? Are you near the Bolanos in town?
Yeah, Crystal, so I'm on Highway 9 here in the Cherry Grove area. So yeah, Bolanos is just up the street that way. There have been a few developments in the last few minutes since I last talked to you guys, and I just want to go over real quick. We noted how the fact that this road pretty much resembled a beach beforehand it's hard to see because it's just so dark out right now. But the water, Chrissy was talking about the water shifting and starting to be pulled back out to sea. That has happened. This road was completely flooded, and we can actually see a full lane of the roadway right now. So we're actually going to be trying to get through here where our cars previously wouldn't have been able to go. We're going to try and go that way now once we get off with you guys. The other development is that all the brush that's behind me, the stuff on the ground that you normally see in the dunes, and it's just trash that kind of gets piled up on the roadway, that is now being cleared by city workers. Brandon, if you can go that way, again, hard to see because it's so dark, but you can see that that excavating machine, or I'm blanking on the word for it right now, but you can see the crews working here to scoop all of that up and get it off the roadway. I think they're kind of waiting for us to go away as well so they can pile it all on this parking lot that we're standing on. So again, the big development, you can see the car right there. That pickup truck is going to try and go through. It should be able to get through now. A couple of pickup trucks. Beforehand, they were all just turning around and waiting at the end of the roadway. And some people filming us on their cell phones as well. So yeah, you can see, we're going to see if they're able to make progress. Looks like not much water on the roadway anymore where those tires are meeting the pavement. You can see that little hatchback that was crossover SUV that they're passing as well. That had to stop, and that's just been there. I don't know if anybody's in it, but that was up to the chassis in terms of water, and now it's pretty much down to the end of the tires there. So yeah, we're looking like traffic's going to be able to start moving through here in the near future. They are clearing the roadway off of debris, so we should be able to see more pavement soon in multiple different factors, and just again a shift in what we're seeing from then to now in just the span of 10 or 15 minutes. Live in Cherry Grove, Nick Papantonis, ABC 15 News.
I was going to say, that escalated quickly in terms of crews getting out there, picking up the debris. Finally, the water's starting to recede a little bit.
Yes.
So a lot is changing by the minute.
That's
so
good that the water's going down. Thank goodness, especially the Garden City and there. All right, take a look at this video a viewer sent us of the ocean breaching the dunes in Garden City. That's how close, you know, the waves are there to the condos. That's a pool, it looks like, right there on the ocean front. So
when that water gets so high, beach erosion is always a major issue after these kinds of storms.
And we've spent so much money, you know, with beach erosion projects and renourishment. And then here's some video for you to show you what it's done. It's like all that has been done in vain. I hope it really. I don't know.
But you know, the thing with beach renourishment is you wonder if it helps. You know, you spend all this time and money and energy to help kind of get the beaches back in order, but you're also kind of preparing for an upcoming storm as well.
So I guess it worked in this case, but they did so much work and so much money, and we're gonna have to start all over again. But you know, this is nothing new to hear folks along the Grand Strand.
Busy 5 years of storms.
I'm serious. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, we do want to go back out. We have another reporter live for us. Let's check in with ABC 15's Donovan Harris. You are in the Forest Brook area now in Horry County. A little bit of flooding out there. What are you seeing, Donovan?
Yeah, Crystal, there's a lot of flooding in this neighborhood here off of Tarpon Bay Road in Horry County. The main road is Forest Brook Road, but take a look here behind me. I have a flashlight here. I'm going to step back here a bit. There's a lot of flooding in this home right here behind me. About 4 inches, the owner of this home says. He says he's been here for about 20 years, and the flooding in his yard is about as bad as it was when Hurricane Matthew came through. In fact, he says homes in this neighborhood look worse than they did when Matthew came here. I don't know if we pan here, Jordy, over here to your right. This home next door to Steve Jepson's home is seeing a similar amount of flooding here, but the water here actually is running. So the water is moving at the top, but the ditch here is still full of water, about 4 inches deep here. I'm not going to I'll put my foot all the way down in here, but the water is pretty deep. I'm about 5'6", and the water probably would come up to about my ankle at this point. But I'm going to talk with Mr. Jepson here momentarily and keep you all updated. He said this is an ongoing problem in this neighborhood, but again, we're in Horry County in the Forest Brook neighborhood, and we'll continue to keep you updated on air and online. Donovan Harris, ABC 15 News.
Well, another neighborhood kind of prone to some ponding and such. We'll continue to check in with Donovan. We do have an update, though, from Santee Cooper. It sounds like more people are without power right now. This is a live look at the outage map. What are you seeing, Trey? Yeah,
so it looks like up in Little River, we'll start there. About 17 people don't have power in that area, 1,700, I'm sorry. We're going to move down to North Myrtle Beach, 162 power outages there, 77 in one part. That's the Briarcliff Acres part. Now, it was 149 earlier, so we're down to 77. We're going to move on down the coast. About 1,000 people there in Myrtle Beach without power. Surfside Beach, a little further south, 1,095 customers in the dark, and between Litchfield and Pawleys Island, 747. So a lot of people still don't have power. A little further inland on 501 in Conway, about 155 people don't have power there. So again, all I can tell you is that crews, we talked to, a rep from Santee Cooper earlier, and they say that crews are out and about. They have extra crews on standby to help get that power restored as quickly as possible. And as long as the winds aren't above 35 miles per hour, they should be out there working to get that back on. So we're going to stay on top of this for you and be in touch and check their social media accounts, because I know it's no fun to be in the dark, and we hate that for you guys.
Of course. As far as an accumulative number in Myrtle Beach, for example, Santee Cooper's looking at about 4,000 customers without, saying another 850 down on the South Strand. And Ori Electric has at least 1,800 customers without power. That's mostly in the Socastee area.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated on the outage maps as we check in.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you do have power, you're lucky. Remember, if you lose power, you can always stream us online. I know some of you are probably right now through our WPDE News app. Just head to your app store and search WPDE. All right, our chief meteorologist, Ed Piotrowski, is going to show us something from the Storyteller.
Indeed we are. It is not official yet, but there's no doubt about it. Hurricane Isaias. I'm just kidding. Say it again. Isaias. I swear I can't get that right. Anyway, it has made landfall near Ocean Isle Beach as a Category 1 hurricane with 85-mile-per-hour winds. Pretty incredible when earlier today it was not very strong at all, and it really got its act together once the shear relaxed some and was able to build thunderstorms around its center. So there you have it. Landfall probably around 11:15 at Ocean Isle Beach. It'll be official from the National Hurricane Center very shortly. All the way around the eye, of course, we have thunderstorms in the eye wall, and some of those thunderstorms are right over, or at least heavy showers, right over North Myrtle Beach and Little River. Some of you have actually been just inside the eye where the winds went dead calm for a short amount of time before picking back up out of the north and northwest, and at times gusting quite high. In fact, we still have a 47-mile-per-hour wind gust right now in North Myrtle Beach, sustained wind at 25. And in case you're wondering the difference between a sustained wind and a gust, well, sustained wind is an average over 1 minute. While a gust is instantaneous. So that's the difference. You're going to always have higher wind gusts than you do sustained winds because it is just an average. Meanwhile, farther inland, we've got some wind gusting at times in the 20s to around 30, but by and large, things are going to slowly begin to calm down as that eye makes landfall and begins to move to the north and east. First, it calms down over our southern and western counties, and of course, as the system pulls away from us, it'll start to calm down across the northern and eastern parts of our area as well. Meanwhile, the winds rage on east of the center of this storm. Frying Pan Shoals, a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. It's now gusting to 58 miles per hour in Wrightsville Beach and very close to the eye. This streamline you see here appears to be off. The eye is right around here, so it's only 16 miles per hour right now at that buoy. So pretty incredible to see the winds and how they are blowing tonight in and around the eye of course, Isaias. Got it right that time. Chrissy, let's send it over to you. All right. Where's Miami?
The good news is we don't have to say it for much longer, Ed. So by tomorrow night, we'll be talking about what's the heat and humidity returning to the forecast. As we take a look at the radar here, as Ed was just saying, we've got that eye moving on shore there in North Carolina. And so that's allowed us to be now on the east and south side of this storm, which has shifted the pattern in which we're watching the radar right now. So we're watching those showers up to our north, head down to the south, and even start to push offshore, where we're starting to see the edge of the precipitation down into Georgetown County right now, actually starting to dry out just a little bit as we head into those the rest of the overnight hours. Taking a closer look here, a little bit closer to the eye for us, you can see we've still got some moderate to heavy rain in parts here from Loris down towards the Longs area, along 17 in North Myrtle Beach as well. It's a little more broken along Highway 51 as you travel out of Myrtle Beach into Carolina Forest area, as well as Conway, then picks back up as you get back towards the Aner area and then looking up towards Mullins. As we look a little further to the south down into Georgetown County, down towards Plantersville, moderate rain for you, and that's going to lift down towards Murrells Inlet, in fact. So this round of rain that you see back towards Pleasant Hill into Plantersville is going to shift out towards the coastline now that you're on the south side of the system, pushing back out over the Atlantic Ocean. So some of you down into Georgetown County, you got that nice little dry spell, thought maybe you were done with this. Not quite yet. We're still dealing with this rain that's going to push out off the coastline here. As we look back further inland, again, these showers up in towards the Danwood area, down into Pamlico and Cemetery, is going to continue to push down towards the southeast as we head through the rest of those overnight hours. Back into Florence, you're kind of hit and miss. If you're on the west side of Florence, a little bit drier for you, whereas we've got some heavier rain on the east side of Florence right now. And then looking up towards Blenheim, you've also got a moderate shower moving through your area, through the border belt up into Lumberton, down into Pembroke and into Alfredsville. We've got some of that heavier rain still moving through your area. And again, this is going to push south down into South Carolina, into Dillon County, and then back into Laurinburg. We continue to see some of those heavier rain showers moving through the Rockingham area, and again, pushing down to the south. So now that we're on the east and south side of the system, again, you're going to look up to the north and watch for that to move south down to the southeast. As we take a look at futurecasts here over the next couple of hours, we're really going to start to dry out pretty nicely through Georgetown County. You've got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half of this left as it continues to lift up to the north. And in fact, we're starting to dry out back through parts of Florence and Darlington counties as we look towards 1 o'clock in the morning, and then lifting up into North Carolina by 2 o'clock. Much of South Carolina much drier here over the next couple of hours. About 3 hours from now, you're really starting to dry out pretty nicely, and then it lifts up to the north even of the border belt as we head towards 3 o'clock. And futurecast as we head through much of the day tomorrow is going to be nice and dry. So behind this system, we're going to get a much drier day for your Tuesday. Good news for all those folks who will be doing cleanup as we head into the day tomorrow. Guys.
All right, we are working for you always, and of course we have team coverage for you all over the Grand Strand, the PD, the Border Belt. That's our crew right there. We're going to head now to Cherry Grove again, where ABC 15's Andrew James has had quite an evening. He's been there most of the day. Andrew, you've helped people get out of their home. What else have you done? What else have you seen since we last spoke?
That's right. Well, we've been taking it a little easier these last couple of minutes. We were trying to get a hold of some folks in Columbia, but that didn't work out as we thought. But as we were working on that, as Ed said, we saw that the eye had touched down in Ocean Isle Beach. That's literally less than 20 miles from where we are here in Cherry Grove, just along Highway 17, a little down along the coastline here. I'm going to let Dan give you guys a closer look at how things have not really changed very much here in Cherry Grove. This is 22nd Avenue on Nixon. I'm trying to get my street name right. I don't know if that's exactly right, but this is Nixon Street. It's more like a river at this point, and you can see it goes down even closer to Ocean Boulevard. We have not been able to make it to Ocean Boulevard, so I apologize. I cannot give you the status on Ocean Boulevard in Cherry Grove, but it's safe to assume that it is probably flooded, just like the rest of Cherry Grove is. As Dan moves around, I want him to see this house here to give you guys an idea of how deep some of this water is. It's up at least 1.5 feet, maybe even 2 feet in some areas. Definitely, if you're going on the roadway walking and you hit a ditch, you're getting close to 2 feet of water, especially in some parts here. Now, we've been out here and a lot of debris has come from the creek, and that's causing a lot of issues as well. But the wind has really picked up. That's the thing that we're worried about right now. As you can see, the water is moving very fast. It's very unclear what direction this floodwater is going in because we're wedged in between two bodies of water that are flooding right now in Trey and Crystal. We're talking about House Creek, the inlet in between Cherry Grove that you need to get to from Sea Mountain Highway. And you have, of course, the ocean on Ocean Boulevard. The low-lying land there is contributing to this water not moving anywhere very fast, and this wind is only still churning it up, making it even worse here. It's not really changed at all. We've been out here for at least several hours, and this road has been like this, hands down, for at least an hour. Many folks in low-lying homes possibly needing to be helped out. A lot of vehicles definitely going to be waterlogged come morning time. For now, live in Cherry Grove, Andrew James, ABC 15 News.
Andrew, real quickly, I've got a couple questions. How deep do you think that water is down there below you, and how fast is it moving?
It's moving fast. I will say that for sure. It's moving fast now more than it was. I had to walk a couple of blocks to get to this live shot location, and the water was definitely 1.5 feet.
Wow.
At least on Nixon Street. On Duffy, it was deeper, especially in people's yards. It's up to my waist.
Wow.
In some people's yards that I've had to go through. and it's stayed that way. It hasn't gone really anywhere. It's slowly going back down a little bit in some areas, but the wind is just not behaving well for this water that wants to go somewhere.
Yeah, so you stay there because it looks like you're almost, we were wondering if you were trapped there because it looked so deep and fast moving there below you. So I guess you're going to hang tight there for a while, and hopefully the next time we check in with you, the water will have gone down a whole lot more.
What's interesting is nearby we have Nick Papantonis, not too far away, also in the Cherry Grove area, but the water in the area where he is on Highway 9 has started to recede a little bit, so I hope the same for the area where Andrew James has been live. Hopefully the water will start to recede at some point.
Yeah.
We're starting to see at least less rain, just the wind is really kicking up.
That's the issue right now. Well, as Hurricane Isaias moves through our area overnight, states like Virginia, New York, New Jersey, they're all getting ready for the storm too.
CNN's Christy Duffy reports on the situation up there tonight.
It's a combination that could mean prolonged flooding.
Sandbags are being stacked outside businesses and homes in Hoboken while police have barricades in place to shut down traffic into and around the city. Hoboken residents are urged to move your cars to higher ground and stay indoors starting tomorrow.
There is a very real chance that the floodwaters are literally going to total your car.
Municipal garages are offering a reduced fee of $5 a day.
Often I do park it on the street, but it's definitely going in the garage.
Residents remember what sandy or even severe rainstorms can do here. Hoboken has seen 2 flooding events in just the last month.
The effects of climate change are making these types of storms more regular than ever before.
Since Sandy, the city has built parks that double as stormwater detention basins, including this one we stood on today. Picture a massive underground bathtub storing thousands or even millions of gallons of rainwater until the pumps can catch up and send it all out into the Hudson River. Another park built to hold 2 million gallons of rainwater is currently under construction uptown. Residents are encouraged to head to the grocery store today to stock up for 3 days in case severe flooding strands them inside.
I'm gonna be home with the kids and my wife.
Again, those northern states just kind of bracing for what we've been seeing. The impact's obviously a lot different as that storm makes its way up north. Now we go back out to Myrtle Beach, where we've had ABC 15's Simon Williams talking about that crazy high tide. And at least the wind is dying down. Your hair is staying in place.
Yeah, that's good for you, Simon. I mean, has the water gone down too?
I like how that's the constant. That's how we check the wind, is if my hair is blown around crazy or not. But actually, we want to go straight to the sky out here, because if you can see that there, I know it's really tough to see, but the cloud kind of spiraling above the beach here is kind of a good representation of the wind right now, and it's obviously going to be stronger the higher it is up there, but that cloud cover is just moving so quickly, it looks like you're watching a time lapse in real time, just how quick that spiral cloud is kind of moving here along above the beach. But the rain has completely stopped. We aren't even seeing it sprinkle right now. Additionally, the wind is starting to die down. Of course, we're still getting those gusts, but the gusts are becoming more sporadic. The constant wind is not severe at all like it was the last time we checked in. Now, if we go to the water levels, you'll definitely see that tide is beginning to retreat quickly now. It was moving so slowly earlier, and it was just taking so long to retreat back down because the waves were so aggressive that every time the ocean began to retreat back, we had a strong wave come up and push everything back up and then add to that standing water here in the front lawn of the hotel. And it was this cycle that the water could not retreat back. Now that we are 4 hours past high tide here at Spring-Made Pier, you can see the ocean water is really starting to retreat back, and because of that as well, we're also seeing the ocean just die down a little bit. We're not seeing those aggressive waves that we were seeing a couple of hours ago. Now, the standing water here in front of the hotel, where on the other side of the dune here, has began to retreat as well. Those traffic cones that you kind of see sticking out there, that's kind of what we were using as a reference as well, just because when the high tide was happening and all that standing water was accumulating, we couldn't even see the traffic cones. The traffic cones were just buried underneath that water, and now we can actually see them there, and you can see the whole cone there. So that is a pretty good representation of how much the water is retreating. Now, because the tide has began to go down almost to the middle of the pier there, we're not seeing any more waves crash up and add to that standing water. It is continuously going down, and you can see there the sand dunes are pretty much intact. But the big story right now is that the rain is dying down and the wind is starting to die down as well. Of course, we'll continue monitoring all of this and let you know if we see any changes. I know on the future cast we're looking at another round of rain. When that comes, we'll let you know when it hits downtown Myrtle Beach. For now, reporting live in downtown Myrtle Beach, Simon Williams, ABC 15 News.
Well, I like how he appreciated my hair reference because
I do too. I think you really did appreciate it,
you
didn't
know,
you, Simon?
And Simon, it's drying up a little,
Yep.
so that means the rain is, not impacting you so much. So
all good signs.
We'll just have a hair meter from Simon Williams.
That's what we got to do sometimes. Many areas throughout the Carolinas, they're already seeing the aftermaths of Hurricane Isaias. Scott Eisberg, an old friend of mine, he and I went to college together.
Oh, wow.
He's with our Sinclair sister station, and he's going to give us a look at what things were like in Georgetown County tonight.
Things really starting to calm down here in Georgetown. The winds that we saw earlier certainly have died down. The rain still is going on, but not nearly as bad as it was, not as heavy as it was, although the flooding is still there. The tide hasn't gone all the way out yet, so there is still flooding out on the roads. You can see the river, if you can see it behind me, leading into Winyah Bay. Not any higher than you might think it would be. Nothing catastrophic, nothing crazy. And the one thing that really stands out for this being a hurricane, when we were driving around town in the heat of the storm, there really wasn't very many, if any, down tree limbs, tree branches, or trees. Maybe one or two here or there, but nothing big as far as that goes. So the wind was pretty controlled here. The flooding certainly the biggest issue, as you'd expect it to be, as it always is here in Georgetown. But now things are really starting to settle down. This should get back to normal quite soon. Just a bit of rain right now. Certainly still stay inside if you are outside, because those roads aren't good. Several of the roads are closed down. We'll certainly continue to keep our eye on things, and if anything does flare up tonight in Georgetown, we'll pass that information along to you. In Georgetown County, I'm Scott Eisberg. I'll send it back to you.
Not too terribly bad out in Georgetown. Front Street always sees flooding, which Scott has been reporting on all night, but it's to be expected, unfortunately.
And it looks like, hopefully, fingers crossed, things are dying down there, so that's a good thing.
Yes, but there is an intensifying situation over the last hour up on the North Strand in Cherry Grove. There is so much water out there. Let's check in now with Nick Papantonis. We actually have two reporters out there. Nick, it looks like you might have moved locations. Where are you now?
Yeah, so the last time we checked in with you guys, we said that the situation on Highway 9, Sea Mountain Highway, was looking like it was clearing. We might be able to get through and go down to Cherry Grove Beach. That didn't last very long. We made it about a block, maybe 2 blocks or so, and then we came across this just river of water cutting right down Sea Mountain Highway. So we are on Highway 9, Sea Mountain Highway, and Duffy, and we've got a wave coming in from a car that just looked like it may have stalled out right there. So that kind of gives you the situation. I'm up on a pedestal right now, so watch what happens. I'm going to step down when the camera comes back this way, and you can see how deep it really is here. It's probably about a half a foot deep at the moment, to the point where we just could not feel like we were getting our cars through comfortably. Again, this water is pretty much all coming from this direction. I don't know, it's just elevated water, and you can see some objects that are, woo! We've got a blast of wind right here, give me one sec. So, just to show you how deep this water is, how powerful it is, I've got a beach ball. Oh, it's going away from me. There's a beach ball just flowing down the road. And then we got a bag of trash, which I was going to try and pick up the beach ball, but I'm not going to do that. We got a bag of trash following it that I'm definitely not going to be picking up here. But this is it's a gas station that I'm in, if you can't tell this already. And again, this intersection is just flooded, more waves coming through. You feel like you're on the beach, and I'm still probably about a half a mile from it. So here's the bag of trash that I was talking about. I might get stuck behind this gas station pump right here. But all this water, we've got coolers coming through, we've got debris, you saw the beach ball there just for a second. The cars, I think, officially stalled out over there. I think it's a Ford. So this is got a flip-flop right here in front of me. So all of this water that is now receding back towards the ocean, and it's kind of off in the direction that the camera is pointing right now, where the water's going back to, was all getting pushed into Cherry Grove, into this area, and it's now all being taken back. Here's the bag of trash. I don't want to touch that, as much as I like the environment. So again, this bag of trash right here floated just in the last few minutes from the Highway 9, the road, which turned into a bit of a river and is just kind of being taken out to wherever it's going to. There's a few other things behind it. I think there's a cooler on the way right now. So again, deep water, cars stalling out still. We thought it was going to be clearing. It definitely is. The water is going back towards the ocean, but for the moment, still pretty not passable for most vehicles here in the Cherry Grove area. We've seen some emergency crews going back and forth on Highway 9. I think there's one of them right there just kind of watching us and figuring out what we're doing. Oh, we got a fire truck coming this way. We'll let him go by. So they have been rescuing some people. I think we touched on that beforehand. This doesn't look like a rescue truck right here. But again, you can just kind of see how high that water is. It's definitely gone down in the last